What's up, YouTube? This is Lord Zath bringing you another episode of Zath's Replay Theater. In this episode, we are following Lert in the Bogatyr, which is the Tier 3 Russian cruiser. Very balanced, of course, because it is a Russian. Yeah? Da. Anyway, we are in a Tier 3-4 battle, and ironically enough, there are two aircraft carriers. This is usually kind of a bad sign. I don't know. So what we're doing in this here is basically following Lert, riding along with him and seeing what's up, and learning a little bit more about how to play the game by watching other people play. In this game, so we've got two carriers on both sides. That is potentially a problem. Not so much for Lert, but for the Nikolai, and, well, Lert and the St. Louis, maybe a couple others that don't have a lot of anti-air. The Wyoming could be okay. South Carolina is probably dead too. The Corner Galbert, definitely a problem. Enemy team, Bellerophon, Nassau are both potential targets. Interesting. They have an Isokaze. Isokazes can be very, very dangerous ships. And Lert's team has a V-170. Okay. So, let's take a look at the battle right now. It's the straight map. Typically, you get the split. Typically, you get people that go to A and C. And typically, there's one or two people that decide to go for B and either cap it or die. And you can see both aircraft carriers are heading towards the middle. That's what most carriers will do. And it's very dangerous because of the channel going from B right there that could potentially hit things. Okay. One thing I want to comment on is Lert's setup. I like to comment on ships and their setup all the time. We see that Lert is running one of the fire flags and November Foxtrot flag, which gives 5% to cooldown of mounted consumables. Bogatyr only has one consumable, and that is this right down here. That is his damage control party. It's like a magic healing potion that completely dissolves all fires, engine breakings, any sort of guns that are destroyed or damaged, I should say, get instantly healed. The rudder gets repaired. You get the idea. And that's gonna help him so he can put it up more. But at the same time, I'm wondering why he's not running premium consumables. It's 22,500 credits, and I think that would have really helped enable him to pull back. Now, real quick. Look at that torpedo bomber squadron. Oh no, Wix just died. If you look at that torpedo bomber squadron, it's going to come right in on the Corner Galbert, and that's a problem. Anyway, let's follow Lert and see what Lert's doing. He is shooting at the Dene right now. Good hit, double fires. Some torpedoes coming his way. Now you are following what Lert is doing as he makes his actions. So everything that's happening here, I'm not controlling the mouse. He's moving everything on his own. And I think that's important to know. That's why I like doing this replay stuff, is because we are kind of seeing how this player sees the battle and unfolds. So in any case, he is continuing to hit that Dene. Probably a good idea at this point. There's really not much out there that he can hit. And Russian bias itself, the Nikolai takes him out. Nikolai, by the way, is considered to be one of the most overpowered ships in the game. It is no longer available for sale. So if you have an opportunity to get one, you do everything you can to get one. Now, look at Lert right here. Oh, man, he got lucky. All skill, no luck, right? Isokaze's torpedoes just fizzled out of range. Lert's doing a good job, though. He was shooting at the Wyoming. He immediately changed his shot to the Isokaze. You have to be able to do that, especially as a cruiser. Your first priority is always destroyers. Your second priority is doing damage on anything else that you can do damage on. So you can see now he's hitting the Wyoming. He's trying to get that guy on fire. He's got him on 3 fires now, I think. And the Wyoming is still ticking. If you look up to the right at the damage counter, you can see it's still growing, so he knows that he's still got the fires going. So, very smart at this point. Time to see if he can get the Nassau on fire, right? Now he's going back to the Wyoming. I'm not quite sure why he's going back to the Wyoming. Maybe just to keep an eye on the guns. That makes sense. So, like I was saying about the Nikolai, very overpowered ship, very powerful ship. However, it does have a pretty significant weakness, and that weakness is torpedoes, and especially airdrop torpedoes. So, in a battle like this with 2 aircraft carriers, he's, gonna have his work cut off for him. But still, we shouldn't feel. Aw, he died. We shouldn't feel bad for that, right? Because overpowered ship. Oh no! And we see the Ducky. I like to call it the Ducky because it's fun. Ducky just gets obliterated, and he's gone. All right. Lert's immediately looking at the Clemson. Again, he sees a destroyer. That's important. Lert being such a gentleman in chat, saying sorry, my bad for the collision. By the way, notice if you look in the chat, there's a lot of communication of I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's something you want to see happen more often. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen like you would wish. So Lert's lining up his shot, getting ready to shoot at the Wyoming. He waits till all of his cannons are available to fire. And there he goes. So one thing I want to comment on right now too, when I was talking about teamwork, oftentimes people say, oh, well, I've done as much as I can. There's not much else I can do. The biggest thing that you can do a lot of times is completely passive, and it doesn't get you XP, it doesn't get you credits, but it gets you wins, and that's communicating with your team. Using the F keys, F3 especially. I use F3 all the time to tell people, hey, shoot this dude, right? I'm pausing this right now. I want you guys to take a look at the minimap. In this situation, we are seeing Lert's team down a ship. Points-wise, they're down. Take a look. This is the deciding moment, I think, of this battle. Let's take a look here at the mini-map. We've got these 3 ships down here versus a number over here. So they're outnumbered. Look at the middle. Isokaze. This is a huge threat. If he breaks through, if he gets past this V-170, right, then he's got open season on these 2 carriers. That's huge. So we need to watch what happens to the V-170. At the same time, on the southern flank, we've got torpedo bombers that are coming in on the Koenig Albert. Are they going to kill him? Let's see, where's the Koenig Albert? He's pretty low health and burning, so that's always a possibility, so we have to watch for that. American torpedo bombers, or I should say Lert's torpedo bombers, are coming in from his teammate, and they're probably going to drop on the Nassau. Where's the Nassau? There's the Nassau at 71 hit points, so Nassau's probably going to die. Clemson is hiding behind that rock there. Now, this is a deciding moment, and the reason I say it's a deciding moment is because it's right now you need to be thinking about, as a player, where do I need to position my ship to be the most effective? Most players will continue to head south down this way. Bad idea. The farther you go this way, the more this team can focus on you, and the less helpful you'll be up north. So, I think what Lert is going to do, I hope he's going to do, let's see, is continue to head northwest, like he's currently heading, okay, and keeping his guns left, and shooting Wyoming, Nassau, Clemson, maybe Bogatyr, whatever comes into range. And if he continues that, he puts himself in a position to nail just about anything. So let's resume the game, and let's see what happens. By the way, you can change the mini-map with the plus and minus key, so I'm going to bring it back down again to where I like to keep it. I like to keep it large like this so I can see what's going on. And let's watch this torpedo drop and see if they do manage to drop on... Oh, what? Oh my god, really? Oh man, he could have killed that Koenig Albert, but he chose not to. Lert just took a big torpedo in the face because of the St. Louis whacking him. That's alright, it happens. Lert, being the gentleman, says, sorry, my bad, as St. Louis takes a Citadel hit. Oh boy. And there goes the Wyoming. That Koenig Albert, incredibly lucky right now, I gotta say, because if that carrier dropped on him, gone. That would have been huge. Oh, look at the B cap. Take a look at the B cap. Look at what's happening. I'm gonna bring this up again. Look at that B cap. The Isokaze versus 170. I don't like the V170's positioning there. Isokaze's backing up broadside. Oh, Isokaze's down. That may very well be the decisive moment of this battle, guys. Yes, Lert's doing good things down there with the St. Louis and the Koenig Albert, but more importantly, that V170 winning means that B cap goes to them, means that to his team, I should say, and also means that the the Isakaze is not able to go through the channel and destroy those carriers. That's huge. Okay, so let's kind of follow back up here. Lert is continuing to move, and now that the Isakaze is gone, there's really not that threat up north anymore, so I kind of agree with him. Let's get in the cap. Let's stop them from gaining points. Now, notice how Lert is using the mouse quite a bit. He wants to get an idea of where things are relative to his ship. This is what a lot of people don't do really well. They just tunnel in at max zoom, at kind of like this all the time, and it's easy to forget where your ship is. Now, I personally would not have shot there. The reason I would not have shot there is because it tells the Clemson exactly where you are. You're spotted now, and now the Clemson knows where you are, and he's going to be able to maybe get torpedoes ready to hit you. We'll see. Some good hits there. Got some fires. What you saw earlier when all of a sudden we saw like a shell cam. If you hit the Z key, or for those Europeans that's the Z key on your keyboard, you will kind of zoom in to see what's going on in your shots, and that helps quite a bit to kind of gauge where you're at and make sure that your shots are landing where you want them to. Look, there's a Langley. And like most other people, Lert foams at the mouth as soon as he sees that Langley. I must kill this carrier! Personally, I would kill that Clemson first and get him out. Very easy to get that tunnel vision there. Anyway, so Lert's shooting the carrier, and the carriers, look at those torpedo bombers. Lert needs to turn right now into those torps. There he goes. He's turning. He's turning, and those torpedo bombers have missed. This is one thing that a lot of people don't do. They don't pay attention to the torpedo bombers, and they keep going straight, and then they get surprised. And then they go, oh my god, carrier's OP, how no fair, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, it's your fault, because you didn't see the minimap, you didn't see what was going on. Lert set a fire, caused damage control party, and now Frank is on fire again. This is very important because what that means is that the Langley cannot launch or recover aircraft. Now, at this point, I would be turning around. I'd be turning north because I would be thinking to myself, what am I going to do once I kill this Langley? And he's continuing to move south. Every moment he moves south, that's 2 moments, he has to move farther north in order to engage a ship. So, personally, I probably would have turned north earlier as soon as that fire, that we call sticky fire, was set, because that means that we know he's going to die, he's no longer a threat, and turn north so you put yourself in a position to help the team out once that ship dies. Anyway, regardless, it happened, it's over, let's move on, right? That Bolerathon is dead, goodbye Ash. And if you look at Lert's damage, he's done quite well for himself. 89,500 damage is quite nice in a tier 3 ship against a whole lot of battleships, against a couple of really good destroyers. And yeah, so hats off to Lert for doing well so far. While we have a moment, let's talk about some other stuff here. So take a look at this. At the ship here, we see a couple areas that are pretty heavily damaged. We call that damage saturation, right? And damage saturation means that when he takes more damage in the future, he doesn't take as much damage if it's on the spot that's already saturated. So, the bow and the stern. The bow, probably when he took that torpedo, we saw it get saturated right away. The stern, I think he took some stern hits early in the battle too. But look at the center. Nice and clean. If I'm a battleship, I like seeing that because that means I can do maximum damage to him. Now, see what I'm saying about earlier? The team's got all 3 caps. There's only 100 points left in this battle, and Lert is not able to do anything. Had he turned earlier, he probably could be shooting the St. Louis right now, or at least getting close to position. Oh, clear sky. Good job by that carrier. Clear sky is one of the most difficult achievements to attain in this game. You basically have to wipe out over half of the enemy fighters. It's just really tough. So, Lert is now looking at that St. Louis. Oh, time extension! Very nice. Time extension. So a time extension, we call that basically when your teammate dies. You're going to win anyways. and you have a teammate that dies, drops the points down a bit, and what that does is it extends the game so you can get a little bit more damage in. I like time extensions, as some of my division mates will unfortunately attest to. Anyway, so Lert is trying to get himself in a position to shoot this St. Louis and kill him. I don't think it's going to happen in time. Look at how quickly the points are gaining. All 3 caps means points gain quite quickly. Quick programming note. Take a look at those carriers down here. If I'm in the Langley at this point, I'm going to be about here, because there's only 2 ships left in the battle, St. Louis and Langley, nowhere near able to do anything about it. So I would be moving my carriers over here as quickly as possible so that I can get my planes into the battle and back as quickly as possible. Guys, I'd like to thank you for watching. There's really not too much else that we're going to get from this replay because I just don't think Lert's going to get it. Well, let's see. As always, if you have a replay that you would like me to comment on, please send it to me. If you have any comments on this replay, please post it. I'd love to see what you have to say, and thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.